Turan is the sacred land where hundreds and thousands of great enlighteners were born and found shelter. The great thinkers and enlighteners, sages, walis from among the local residents made their worthy contribution to the development of world civilization. Among them were outstanding world-famous scientists such as Imam al-Bukhari and his students Isa Tirmizi, Hakim Tirmizi, Zamakhshari, Imam Maturidi, Farabi, Biruni, Ibn Sina, Avicenna, Ahmad Yassavi, and many others left their mark on history. The great enlighteners had prophetic qualities, but in addition to this, they were also masters of various crafts which made it possible to earn a living. The hereditary abilities have been passed down from generation to generation, and today they are reflected in the activities of some of our contemporaries who dedicated their lives to serving the people. The hero of our film, RAUSHAN TESHEBAEV, had dedicated his whole life to healing people from ailments. He is also a descendant of the great enlighteners and folk healers in this land. The folk healer RAUSHAN has extraordinary magic hands. When I was brought in a wheelchair to his clinic, I could not walk. I had a hernia in the lower part of the spine, and after 10 days of treatment, I was able to walk independently up to the entry of the clinic. I consulted many doctors, specialists, but all were without any effect. Good heavens, the clinic of the healer RAUSHAN turned out to be next to my street. My son invited RAUSHAN home. After examining, he prescribed me a course of treatment at the clinic and I recovered. I've been walking freely for 5 years now and I have no complaints. There are two ways to treat patients diagnosed with a posterior hernia of the spine. The first is to be under the supervision of neuropathologists for a long time and to fight the disease with the help of drugs. The second is to agree to have operations. In both cases, no one can guarantee a 100% positive result. But after several special procedures of RAUSHAN Tabib, the patient has a great opportunity to recover without surgery. In 2018, I became seriously ill and could not walk. The doctors discovered a hernia in my spine. It was very painful to move. An ambulance took me to a surgical clinic. There I was offered an urgent operation, but I refused. Several agonizing days passed. One of my friends suggested that I should be examined by RAUSHAN Tabib. When I was brought to his clinic, I couldn't stand up straight. I was in a bent position all the time. Due to terrible back pain, I could not even straighten up. Tabib examined me carefully. His cordial attitude towards the patient surprised me. When he began to massage, I felt the extraordinary strength and energy of his hands. In the beginning, I did not believe that he could cure me. I was worried about my children. What would happen to them if I did not recover? I'm a cook by profession. The first day, I straightened up, and on the third day, I left the clinic on my own. When he touched me, I felt special warmth in his hands. Earlier, I received massage sessions, but I never received such a procedure as at RAUSHAN Tabib. Mamura Shamirzaeva was under the supervision of doctors for a long time. The previous procedures carried out did not help her. The situation worsened day by day. It became more and more difficult for her to walk. Her hope for recovery was dying, and suddenly fate gave her an unforgettable meeting with RAUSHAN Tabib. I had an attack of the spinal hernia. Severe pains began. I spent a week at home, consulted different doctors. They treated me with injections and I took the prescribed drugs, but there was no relief. The injections used to work, but the latest attack brought me great suffering. I went to professional doctors. I was treated in a clinic, but no one promised me complete recovery. I thought it was the end. I was accidentally introduced to a man who was treated in the clinic of RAUSHAN Tabib. The children brought me here, and I still doubted the cure. I still thought if I would return home safe and sound. After examining me, RAUSHAN Tabib said, "Everything is in order. I will help you return to a fulfilling life." And I still don't believe it because I was in a serious condition. My son wanted to show the taken X-ray. The tabib did not look at them and said that he would first examine me. He took his time to inspect. He invited his sons to the treatment room and then said, "This disease is more than 15 years old and you have been suffering from pain in the spine for a very long time. Now give me the papers and I will look at them." He looked at me and asked, "Did I say correctly about your illness?" My sons confirmed the words of the tabib and asked to heal me at all costs. On the same day, tabib began treatment. After receiving a massage session, I went out into the street. My children were waiting at the entrance. They looked at me in surprise. It turns out I went out without crutches. Tabib took them and said, "You don't need them anymore. Take a step yourself." I went on. I cannot express my joy in words. A hernia was found in my spine. It worried me a lot. My legs and lower back ached all night. I couldn't get to my feet. In just 5 days of treatment at the RAUSHAN Tabib clinic, I felt like a different person. I seem to be younger, I feel strong and healthy, I can get to my feet without problems and my heart does not bother me as before. And now the pains, external anxiety have passed. His hands have extraordinary energy and this energy heals. It restores the human body. In the world medical practice, the treatment of microcephaly, that is, infantile cerebral palsy, does not give positive results in all cases. But the soul rejoices when you see how the skillful actions of RAUSHAN Tabib helps the youngest patients get on their feet. And not only children are brought back to life by the magic hands of a healer. For 24 years, a resident of Navai, Gulbahar Ibadova, did not get out of bed. Thanks to the treatment of RAUSHAN Tabib, she is on her feet. I was in a serious condition, in a very difficult condition when I came here. I couldn't walk at all. I'm much better now. there are changes for the better. For more than a year, I have been receiving treatment sessions with RAUSHAN Tabib. I was completely bedridden. I didn't know what it was to walk on my own feet. Now I'm almost healthy. Over the past year, I have completely changed. I'm delighted with the Tabib's treatment. I have been taking my daughter to the doctors for 24 years. She had paralyzed arms and legs. After the third session, they began to move. My daughter started to eat. We're now undergoing the 10th course of treatment. My daughter is much better. We thank the healer very much for his help. May God give him health, long life. He was able to put my daughter on her feet, who could not walk for 24 years. Now I can walk on my own. I feel very good. I can already walk for more than 2 hours and do not get tired. And I'm sure I can walk all day. Many thanks to RAUSHAN Tabib. He brought me back to life. It's like a miracle for me. The doctors wanted to operate on me 3 times, and I didn't agree. They said that I would die soon if I didn't have the operation. RAUSHAN Tabib is always ready to favor with love, joy on the hearts of parents, grandparents who come to him with the hope of finding cure to their children. He gives hope of full, healthy life to the hearts of everyone. Not only the hands of RAUSHAN Tabib heal the patient, but also his humble heart, honesty, and humanity heal. What kind of diagnosis do the patients come to you with? Usually they bring patients in serious cases like stroke, heart attack, cerebral palsy. The children with cerebral palsy can't be cured in medicine. I can cure them. All over the world, the patients with the diagnosis of microencephaly can't be cured, but I can cure them successfully. What do you think where these abilities come from? I think my granddad Yahya Khan was an enlightened man. He had many abilities. His prayers could boil water in the jug. He cured people and he built mosques. RAUSHAN Tabib's granddad Yahya Kari was born in Sairam. He was the descendant of Ibrahim, who was the brother of Wali Ahmad Yasavi's father. Yahya got religious knowledge at his early age. He was often called Katta Kari. Besides this, he was a skilled builder, and God gave him the ability of healing people as a healer. In order to hand down his knowledge to the future generation, he made scientific study on the traditional medicine. Besides, he rented a room in the street of Hasti Imam and cured many local people, fixed fractured bones, healed the sick with herbs and prayers. He was multi-talented personality. Continuing his granddad's work, RAUSHAN Tabib tries to ease distress of everybody who come for the aid. He derives his strength from his great ancestors. It is they from whom the healer gets moral support. This energy gives him new strength to work more diligently and to heal people. Your brother and sister also have such abilities, and how did they know if they can heal people? My brother has an unusual gift. He can cure people at a distance. It happened at the Soviet time. He had an instrument which he touched and changed the indicator reading. But when we touched, we couldn't change the indicator reading. In the 18th, the doctors would take him to cure the very serious sick. At that time, I didn't understand how he had such abilities. Does your sister have such an ability too? Yes, my sister also has power in her hands. She looks like our mother. Life of a person is so fragile that regardless of who you are, if anyone gets sick in your family, you seek treatment from doctors. But not always the treatment of the doctors makes people healthy. And then your friends recommend different healers, but you won't trust them. And when the family of skillful Dr. Abdul Majid Saifullah also found themselves in such a condition, it was RAUSHAN Tabib who healed the patient. Having seen the process of the treatment in the clinic of RAUSHAN Ergashevich, I got once again convinced that the human body can use its internal resources to treat serious diseases. Before my eyes, after 6 or 7 sessions, the patients who had been bedridden for years got to their feet. There are many such examples. We saw a patient who was brought here in a stretcher, and after the courses, that is 10 sessions, he went out on his own. This is probably one of the factors that led to a change in the attitude of people to the traditional medicine. Not long ago, when I entered the room, there was a patient. I don't know how it happened, but I have not yet examined the patient and said, in 20 minutes you will come out of here on your own. It all depends on the will of Allah. At that moment, he barely got up from his seat and said, I was waiting for you, cried and asked God for healing. He couldn't even undress on his own. 4 people helped him. I did one healing session and then asked him to get dressed. He took his clothes and put them on. How did you get there? I'm asking. He doesn't even know how he got to his clothes. But 20 minutes ago, 4 people undressed him. He began to walk like this, backwards and forward, backward and forward. He saw his daughter and ran to her. I foresaw this at first glance at this person. That's why I had said, you will soon run away from here. He ran, and his wife got scared and shouted, don't run, dear. I said, don't be afraid. He's recovered now. The joy of his family knew no bounds. 9-year-old Habibullah was born with a flaw. One of his legs was 4 centimeters shorter than the other. Wherever the boy's parents went to take medical advice, but the doctors just shrugged their shoulders. After RAUSHAN Tabib's procedures, Habibullah left crutches and was able to walk on his own. The fame of folk healer RAUSHAN has spread far beyond the borders of our country. He is known in the Republic of Kazakhstan, Russia, the People's Republic of China, Turkey, Tajikistan, and in the Arabic countries. Kazakhstanis have a special attitude to Dr. RAUSHAN. In one of the majestic halls of Tashkent, a concert was organized with the participation of representatives of Kazakhstan. Here, our hero was presented with a well-deserved award.
Қымбатты Өзбекстан халқының азаматтары мен ханымдары, берілетін құрмет белгісі, знак почета орденіменен TESHEBAEV RAUSHAN Bekhterов марапаттауға рұқсат етіңіздер. Сіздің еңбегіңіздің жемісі. Бұл халықаралық дәрежеде Франциядан алынған 27 бриллиантыменен.
Our main goal is to show the world talented and gifted individuals. RAUSHAN Beg has golden hands. We awarded him with the medal so that his name would be known not only in Central Asia, but also far beyond its borders, in Kazakhstan, in all countries of Europe and America.
Dərgərlərə verilən ələmlik.
From the depth of history, it's known that since ancient times in the East, the treatment of various ailments have been carried out in 4 ways. First, herbal plants were used for diseases. Second, energy, that is massage, was used. Third, the ailments in patients were treated with physical exercises and proper breathing. And fourthly, they treated with the spiritual power of the verses from the surahs from the Quran. In due time, the great educators of the East, Avicenna, Ahmad Yasavi, Abdulkhalik Ghijdawani, Sheikh Najmuddin Kubra, Bahauddin Naqshband were engaged in folk medicine. However, under the dictatorial regime, the activities of healers were prohibited, and therefore, since the beginning of the 20th century, traditional medicine that came from Europe has been in open competition with traditional medicine. The independence of the country made it possible for RAUSHAN Tabib and other representatives of the dynasty of healers to continue the work of their ancestors in the development of the traditional medicine. I came to the clinic in a very poor condition. The healer has magic hands. Now I can walk down the street without assistance. Thanks to RAUSHAN Aka, I returned to life. I wish good health to our healer. May God grant healing to everyone who turns to him for help. If children choose the profession of father, this is a blessing from above. Famous masters have always continued the work of their fathers. This is the divine miracle. I want to express my deep gratitude to RAUSHAN Tabib. He is not only a high-level professional and a very good person, his attitude towards patients is priceless. A wise decision from an internal problem inspired RAUSHAN TESHEBAEV, a member of the World Association of Traditional Medicine, doctors and psychologists, a member of the Academies of Traditional Medicine of Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, and the holder of the Order of Friendship of the Republic of Kazakhstan for new research. In due time, the hero of Uzbekistan, the people's poet Abdullah Aripov, also received recovery from the hands of RAUSHAN Tabib. He expressed his feelings in the following lines: "You are a hereditary healer. Both old and young need you. Your name is RAUSHAN Bek. Your mind is great. May the Almighty illuminate your path. This is my wish, my word. Live with the blessing of the people."